Hi, Neil here with Covers Camo, your source for custom seat covers. Today we're showing you the install on the 2021 Ford F-150 Tremor package. Awesome looking set of seat covers inside here, black Ostrich diamond stitch for the insert, black Dura Easy Care canvas for the trim, loaded up with some awesome custom options inside here. But right now we're going to show you the install, how to get these things inside here. Let's do it. So we're getting started on this install. We need to do the driver's side. I've actually already done the passenger side here. And what I'm show you first though is the hard console cover. Again, this is the 21 Ford F-150 Tremor. And the hard console like this, where it's not a seat, it's just hard console, is essentially just a elastic cover that pops over the top. And so what you're going to do is find the side that does not have the extra piece of fabric on it. The extra piece of fabric is going to go towards the back, the one that goes straight down. And what you'll do is start with the back side first. So we're going to get this back side hooked on very first, and then we're going to stretch it up towards the front. Now, if you have the F-150 that has the 20 section seat, it's going to be a completely different install than this. This is just for the hard console one. And so I've capped that on the back first again, and then stretch it over towards the front side. Okay. Just kind of smoothing it out back here now. You're just going to want to make sure that each corner is capped over with that elastic there, so it hugs it on. Okay, so perfect. So now we got that console lid cover installed. That looks good. Now we're going to move on to the driver's seat here. So I have the driver seat backrest cover right now, and this one, this Tremor actually has the B&O sound system in the headrest, so the headrest won't be removed because there's cables running through them. So the backrest is built with some Velcro tabs for you to be able to open it up like this here. So we're going to open that up, and then the other thing we're going to do is open up this side air guide section a little bit as well. That'll help us get this on. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Velcro and attach it back together here. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this seat cover and tuck it underneath the headrest post plastic section right there. Okay, good. Just make sure those shoulders are fitting in there. Good there. Okay, I'm gonna attach up this side Velcro for the airbag release section. Right here, there's 3 tabs of Velcro that you need to stick together here. Now this cover is going to have Velcro right here, and it's hook Velcro that's going to actually just stick to the front side of the seat. It's different than some other patterns, but that's how this one works, is the Velcro is just going to push, you're going to push that in, stick it to the seat. And before I do that though, I'll just give myself a little bit more space to do the bottoms. I'm just going to roll this up like that for the time being, and then I'm going to do that bottom cover, and then we'll finish that back in a second. So now we'll start into the bottom cover here, the first part of the bottom cover. And this particular pattern is designed for if your seat bottom has a seat bottom airbag, and so the straps on this are going to be just on the back side, and there's going to be buckles on the back side here as well. The strap's going to go underneath to a solid bar, back to the buckle, cinched down nice and tight, and then the sides are going to have some of these elastics right here, okay, underneath. I'll show you how to tie those up. And the inside is going to have this Velcro. Here's our pistol holster right here. But then there's going to be this Velcro right here that's going to stick on the side of the seat, and then also this drawstring. This is what we're going to rely on a lot, is this drawstring on this particular pattern to make sure the front side stays down. So I'll give you some tips on how to make sure that string gets nice and tight. Okay, so we're going to start fitting this into place here. What I'm going to do now is push this seat cover through the section of where the backrest and the bottom meet. That Velcro does like to catch the carpet on the seat, so you just want to try to kind of guide that through so it doesn't catch the carpet too soon before you want to stick it down. So what I've done is I've pushed that through the seat right there just to get started. This string is going to go on the outside of the seat belt right here. And then what we're going to do with this right here is I'm actually going to pull this on the back there, or just pull it through a little bit more, and then we're going to start tucking this all in. Okay, so I pulled that back about where I want it there. Now what I'm going to start doing is taking the trim tool that's sent with the seat covers and start trim this out by pushing this fabric in right here. Okay, so this first elastic piece right here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece and tuck it in, and it pretty much tucks straight down. It's kind of a tricky one to do, so I like taking a piece of, I'm using medical tape right here, but I like taking a piece of tape and taking the elastic, hooking it on right here, just kind of grip that a little bit better, and then I'm going to take that and push it down and see if we can push that down into the side plastic right here, and then we're going to go underneath and grab it there. Also, this is when it's really nice if you can get another light underneath. So I got another little light right here that I'm going to shine underneath here to light up, see what I'm doing underneath the seat here. Okay, so my first attempt to pass the elastic through with that other tape that I've been using before was unsuccessful, and I'm actually going to use some trusty duct tape now to actually pass this through better. And the elastic ended up coming off, and what we'll do now is just see if we can pass this through with that duct tape on there. Okay, so here is that elastic that I've passed through, and there's the trim tool on it right there now. And so what we're going to do now is obviously take the trim tool and the tape off, and then we're going to take this elastic and reach it down and actually tie that off underneath the seat to a solid bar. You want to avoid tying it to any electrical controls underneath here, but what we're going to look for is one of those skinny curved metal springs or bars underneath there, and we'll tie it off to one of those. Or what you can do is there's like a white hooked frame underneath here, and you could also just hook it onto one of those. That's actually a lot easier than tying it, and if you can find one, we'll end up doing that. Okay, so I actually reached across right here and took that elastic and hooked it on to that's that white little frame piece. Now you could tie it to these curved metal springs if you want to, but I just reached across right there, and that should be fine. You are going to want to try to avoid going over anything that's on your cables or cords as much as possible, so you're not giving too much pressure on any of those. So this one right here, these two are going to be a little easier to pass through actually, because there's a little bit more of a space, as you can see right here where I can push my finger through, and that's where we're going to push these both through right here. So this outside cord down like that, and you're going to see that I should be able just to grab this with my one hand right here. Let's see if I can find it. It's going to pass through on that other side. I might have to shine a light underneath there to see where it went, but same thing with this one. I'm going to take that elastic, tuck it in right there. Both of these should be just on the inside of this plastic trim right here. So I'm gonna have to reach underneath, probably from the back side, and grab those and finish pulling them down. So I was able to get the string on the underside, and I'll show you that in a second, but The elastic, I was not able to push that through the first time, so I'm going to use the same method where I'm taking the install tool and just taping the front part of it, and then I'm going to push that down, and that should get it down far enough where you should be able to grab it. Try to do more of these videos with another person, so not always just doing it with one hand. So I'm sure it's easier for you guys to see this one. It's not shaking so much. Okay, let's see if that got it down there now. So now we can see that here's the string that passed through, and then there's the elastic onto the that I taped onto the install tool. So now just need to get that off the install tool, and then I'm gonna need 2 hands for that to reach underneath there and pull those both off, and then we'll start fastening them down to the seat. So for this elastic, I'm actually gonna tie a knot in it to shorten that elastic up a little bit. And then I'm gonna go underneath the seat, and I'm gonna hook it onto one of those white little hooks that are underneath the seat here. They're on the seat base right there. So that's where I'm hooking that one, and that just makes it a little bit easier so I don't have to tie it. And we got that one hooked up, so we're good there now, and ready to move on to the string. So now we're on the inside of the seat right here, and one thing that you're going to need to do is there's some Velcro on this seat. There's on this side there is Velcro right here. There we go. Velcro right there, and then there's also a Velcro tab farther up that prematurely got stuck down. I'm gonna need to pull that off here. So here's this Velcro right here, and then there's some Velcro right here. So what you're gonna wanna do is pull this over nice and tight to the seat, and then as you're pushing that down, roll that Velcro onto the seat, just so it doesn't catch the carpet before you get it into the spot where you want to have it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And again, this string is going to the outside of the seat belt. Now what I'm doing is I'm lifting this up. Now I'm going to leave this hooked on because it has some elastics that go around some electric cables, and I don't want to mess with those right now. But I'm just going to lift this up, and I'm going to take this seat cover, backside of that seat cover, and pull it back towards me. Just to make sure it's nice and snug, pulled back tight. And then I'm gonna stick that down. It has some Velcro, but it doesn't really stick super hard or super good to the backside because of the type of material that this is. But what's gonna keep it in place is these straps and buckles right here. And these straps are gonna go up to a solid bar again, back to this buckle, cinch in, and then lock tight. So here's a close-up on this buckle right here. Again, I went with the strap underneath to one of those solid bars, those curved spring bars right there, and now went back through the buckle like this, and we're gonna pull it nice and tight right there. And I'm actually going above this cable right here. Going above that one right there, and then we're gonna pull that tight. And again, all while doing this, I'm just being careful of the cables and cords underneath the seat, trying to avoid those as much as possible. Okay, so you can do that to both this one and the other side. So the next step is to tie a loop in one side of the cord like that, right, that I've done, and then take the other side, go through the loop, and then we're gonna tie this up nice and tight. And like I was saying earlier, on this seat, since we don't have buckles on the front where the straps are going up to the front, we're gonna need to make sure that this is nice and snug tight, more so even than other seats. So what I'll do is I'll tie this once, and then I'm gonna go up to the front, pull on that, kind of pull out any excess out of the string, and then come back and retighten it. Now, if you had another person helping you on this install, you could just have them kind of pushing on the seat cushion, kind of making sure that that string is nice and snug and really curving underneath the corners of the seat. That's what we're going for there, because we need it to hug around the front corners of the seat. So that will finish up the seat bottom when you tie that draw cord up. And then next thing is we're going to take this backside of the backrest now, and there's Velcro right here, and you just stick that onto the backside carpet right there like that, and just make sure it's nice and smooth, looking good there. This has some extra pockets on it because it has the special ops on the back here, and there we go. So this bottom is all done now, so that's looking good. And I got that front here again. Here's that string, it's underneath there, nice and tight, so that's gonna hold those front corners on, and sides looking good with that elastic and cord tied down. So we're good there. Last piece now is the backrest, the front Velcro. Again, if we remember, we tucked that underneath there. Now what we need to do is untuck that, and we're gonna keep it nice and smooth. And I always like reclining the seat back for this step here. So I'll recline it back all the way. And then what we'll do is I'm gonna pull this nice and tight. In fact, I'm gonna first kind of fold it in half, pull it tight, and then slowly wrap that underneath. And there's carpet right down here that's gonna stick onto. So I have that stuck down now. Again, I just pulled tight, and then with both hands push this underneath and stuck that onto the carpet right there. And that sticks really good to the carpet there. So now I'm good just to move this backrest forward again, and we'll be good to go. Backrest is done, bottom's done. Now we just need to do this headrest. Again, this is the B&O sound system headrest right here. So we're gonna pull that cover over. Again, this headrest does not remove, so we're just gonna pull that on top with it in there and finish it out like that. Here's the headrest cover now. This scratchy Velcro, the hook Velcro is gonna be on the front side here. Loop Velcro on the back side. And again, we're just gonna start pulling it over the headrest right there in place. Okay, so I've started to slide this on. Now, it's easiest if you kind of slide with two hands, shifting it back and forth and pulling down at the same time. That usually helps when it's in this position. Now, another tip is move the seat down on your electric controls to give yourself enough space up here to get this on, or else it's really tight to work with. Normally I have the seat up all the way when I'm doing the seat bottom to give myself enough space underneath the seat cushion, but for this part, I move the seat down. So here we go, got it on now, attached down below, and you can see it's a very snug, tight fit. And the Velcro underneath, you are gonna not use the entire bit of loop Velcro. It's gonna, I don't know, you're probably using the majority of the hook, but the loop is quite a big section of loop Velcro right there. So you won't use all of it, so don't feel like you need to be using all of it, but just enough to give it a nice hold underneath there. And we're nice and snug fit on there, so we're good to go with that now. We are now working on the rear seats, and I've pulled the headrests out. You are going to want to do that, and you just do that by pushing these two tabs right there, and those headrests pull out just fine. The armrest, I have started this just to get it going a little bit, but right here's the armrest cover that's going to pull over the tab right here on the outside, and then here's this Velcro that's going to push through on the underside attached to this Velcro. And I have done that 40 section already, because the 40 sections is simpler than and uses the same steps as the 60 over here. So we'll first get started on this 60 section backrest. The very first step you're going to do is pull this seatbelt out and then slide the 60 section backrest cover underneath it. So you're into this position first. So make sure you're not covering that seatbelt Again, pull that seatbelt out, slide the cover underneath it. And then what I'll start to do is get these straps flipped around like this, and then take these headrest holes and match those up with the headrest plastic and tuck that around. So they're gonna finish out like this right here, and I'm using this plastic trim tool and tucking this cover, the pre-cut out hole around and underneath that right there. So again, they're gonna finish like that right there. Once you have these headrest posts in place, now the next step that's really gonna make your life a lot easier on this install is if you reach behind on the back side of the seat, right in here, I'm gonna show you, there's a little trip lever, and I just pulled it just now, but I'll show you where it is, and then you can release this seat forward, okay? I know it's awesome when you can get this forward, because it's not designed for just the average consumer to, there's no pull tab for this, which I think Ford should have done. But there is, on the back side, back here, there is a little knob right here, and you need to pull up. Just pull that up right there. So I reached behind with one hand, my right hand, and then I pulled up on that right there. And then that releases it from this bar back here. And then when you want to get this bar, when you want to push this back up, I usually line that up with that white dot right there. That seems to get it back into place. But you're going to pull up on that that white, or not the white knob, but it's kind of the silver knob right here. Pull that up, and then it's going to release the latch right here, and then you can fold this forward. Okay, so now when we fold that forward, now what we can do is take these straps, and it's just going to make it a lot easier to get these straps down. And here's this middle strap right here that goes right behind the seatbelt portion. But you'll get all these straps, pull these down like that, and then we'll be able to, on the other side, we're going to push the buckles through and attach them to the buckles right there, and then we'll be able to push this seat back up. So again, you're going to take these straps and cinch them through these buckles. And always as you're doing this, you're going through the middle slot right there, and then through the outside slot, and then we're cinching that tight like that, and then we're gonna do that with all the buckles there. Now, one thing to keep in mind as you're doing this, there are child seat attachment bars right here, and you want to go above those bars, okay, because they're not connected to the backrest piece. So you want to make sure when you're doing that, you're not covering that, and you're going above those bars right there. Okay, so I've cinched all these straps through the buckles there. Now there's two elastic straps on the sides, and they actually have a sewn on little piece of Velcro. If you just, I think that's designed so if somebody wants to just push their hand behind and stick this to the there, but to give it a better tight taut attachment, I actually just tie these two together. When there's enough length, I just tie them together like that, and then we're good to go. And backrest should be all set on that portion. Now I'm just going to start working on this armrest section. So for this section here, there is going to be these Velcro liners that we're going to reach back and stick on that back carpet right there. Okay, and not all of it, but most of it will stick to that carpet there. So we'll do that for all the liners. And then this armrest section, we got to connect this together. So actually, I think I'll do this armrest first here. Just push this through, and then we'll tackle these liners. So I was able to get that tucked underneath. That does finishes out a little bit better when you can do that. And I attached this on the back side right there. So now we just got to work on these liners. So I've stopped midway through to just show you what I'm doing here. I'm taking this, reaching this back, sticking the Velcro to this back carpet right there. And I'll do the same thing with this. Just reaching it in, sticking it on there. Do the same thing with this bottom one. And this one, just kind of push it underneath that armrest. Okay, so I got that in now. So those are all stuck on right there. And also down here, this is the trickiest one down here because you can't really see it. And you just slowly push that through and then just make sure everything is staying smooth as you do it, and then stick that Velcro onto that back carpet. It sticks back right there. You can't really see it through the armrest, but that's how it should finish out, like that. And then pushes in a little tighter because you have that extra fabric, but it's a lot less tight than if you were doing a leather or simulated leather cover. That becomes super tight there. Now that I have the armrest section all done, it's time to push this back up and lock it in. And so I've taken this, slid it back down to right about the white dot. It seems to be the spot that they've marked for these to go back up and in. And then you just give it a nice, good push back in. It locks in right there. And so that backrest is all done. Time to move on to the bottom 60 seat right here. So I have the cover laid on now. Here it is. Here's the back side, underneath storage. Or sorry, underneath coverage on this. There's that cover on the bottom side, and there's nothing special to get this up. It just pulls right up, and there's going to be Velcro on the top right here that pushes back and sticks onto the carpet back there, and then on the underside there's going to be Velcro right there as well. So we're just going to start sliding this on, and one thing to note is, again, child seat attachment bars. That's where these are going to line up. Right here, these little slots, and we'll start sliding it on. Once we have these corners smooth and it's all pulled on up here, now we're going to come down to this side and attach up this Velcro. So I'm just going to slide this underneath, and then pull that Velcro on top of it, attach that up. Now we can take this part of the Velcro, or this part of the seat, the top portion, and the Velcro, push that down nice and smooth, stick it to the carpet right there, and then again, watch out for the child seat belt, child seat attachment bars right there, pushing that back, stick it on, and then the top portion will be done. Then we need to stick on the bottom Velcro. Okay, so I stuck that down there, in here, around there, so the child seat attachments are still available, accessible. Seat belt right here, cut out, that lines up nice. Now what we'll do underneath here is stick this Velcro down. Again, just give them that nice snug pull. I just stick that. So the very last step of the install is to get the rear headrests on. I have all three pulled out. I got one headrest cover installed. Now, as you can see, it's gonna have Velcro at the bottom, and it's gonna go on nice and tight. And here's the middle headrest. Again, hook Velcro towards the front on this side right here. Should be. Let's see, let me double check that. I might have to start installing this one and double check that. Typically that's the case. That goes on the front there. And so I just start pulling these over. Thanks so much for watching this video. This has been Neil here with Covers Camo, your source for custom seat covers. To see more, jump over to coversandcamo.com. We offer seat covers for trucks, Jeeps, cars, SUVs, and UTVs. So if you have a vehicle you're thinking about getting seat covers on, go to coversandcamo.com. Thanks.